All right, so welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to try and do my thoughts on what I've learned over 30 odd years experience of how to pack a rucksack for your backpacking and hiking. As you can see, it's packed at the moment. What I'm going to do, I'm going to empty out all on the floor and show you how I pack a rucksack.
Yeah.
So, hoping this is close enough for you to see. I will point out some of the important stuff, but what I've got firstly on the left hand side here, my sleeping system. This is a sleeping pad. It's a self-inflating mat. It's just what I feel comfortable with. I also have one of these pumps for it that blows it up. I have my first aid kit, and I have some extras here like my poop scoop in a nice little bag, some toilet tissues, a little tiny knife, pocket knife, compass, and some ear defenders. I also have here my sleeping bag. This is a Mountain Equipment Helium, brilliant sleeping bag for the summer. Obviously my sleeping bag will get bigger if I'm going out towards the winter. Now, let's have a look through. You'll see some bits as we pack them, and I'll chat through what I'm going to do because I think this will help. So in the bottom, historically the bottom of rucksacks always have this sleeping bag area, and the sleeping bags have got smaller and smaller and smaller, and the bag manufacturers haven't really changed that dimension. So what I like to pack in here is sleeping bag in the bottom, as is meant to be, my sleeping mat in the bottom as well. It's bulky, super light, and you want to try and put bulky and super light right in this bottom compartment. Because this bottom compartment's a little bit larger than I need it for, I'm going to put some extra equipment. It's going to be weighted around my waist, so it's going to be good to carry some of the weight there. So I've got my inflatable pump. I also got cord just in case I need a washing line or something breaks on my tent, and I've got some spare cord here. Whatever I need it for, always carry a bit. My poop scoop and my tissues, nice and handy in the bottom there. I have some earplugs for the night, just because I like sleeping well. And also in here, what I do is I always carry hat and gloves. These go in the bottom. It's just warm kit to put on if I stop for a longer time. And rain cover for the rucksack, which I use quite a lot actually. And I put my rain trousers. Now, my rain trousers are harder to get to than my rain top. I'll show you where I put my rain top later. But my rain trousers go in here. And on top of all this goes my packed first aid kit. So it's nice and handy and accessible just in case anything goes wrong. So that's the bottom of my rucksack. Now, on the rucksacks, your weight you want to go through. All right, leaning up. On your rucksacks, your weight you want to go through the hip belt, not through the shoulder straps, or at least not as much through the shoulder straps. So you want lightweight at the bottom, because the weight is going to be next to your back here, and this weight is just going to pull you backwards. So lightweight at the bottom if you can do it. Problem with all your hiking kit is you're going to compress it down, and the weight's going to be the weight anyway. So you can't do as much as we used to, where we'd put lighter weight equipment at the bottom, then medium weight equipment and heavy weight equipment next to your back. It all kind of weighs the same when you compress it down. So we'll just pack sensibly so that we know where we can get stuff. So that's the bottom of my rucksack done. Now on the sides, what I've got here is I've separated my tent. And what I've done with the tent is I've got the poles on the outside wrapped in a foam mat. I use the foam mat under the self-inflating just to give it a bit of protection. And I've wrapped the tent poles into this, and I put it down the side on these nice big pockets here. The reason why I put tent poles and everything on the outside is because they will not damage the equipment that's on the inside. So you won't get ripped tops or ripped bags of food and then it opens up into your rucksack. So they're metal poles, keep them on the outside. I also keep my tent pegs on the outside. So I put them next to them slide them in, and then as always we do up all the straps and cinch them tight so it doesn't bounce around and causes a problem. Okay, so tent poles down the side and the bottom of a rucksack, and the side is complete here. Now we have these nice little pouches on the front or on the hip belt here. What I always do with these is I put my little penknife in there, I put my compass in there, so it's always handy to grab. And for the day I will separate out my chocolate bars, my snacks and my phone and put them in the front here where they're nice and easily accessible. Now, bottle of water. Got, I think it's a 1 litre bottle of water here. This goes on the other side, balances out the weight of the tent poles with the water. On this rucksack as well, what you can see is I have these two black parts to the rucksack here. If I open them out, these are very good and I usually use them, is they are water bottle holders on my shoulder straps. So I actually carry 1 litre of water on the side, carry 500 millilitres of water on each of these. So I'm carrying 2 litres of water for the day. These are nice and balanced and I can get to them easy, have a quick drink, put them back. I haven't got the water bottles with me today because I'm only on a day hike and I'm only showing you for this video. But they're quite handy to have. I like having them and it keeps the water available to you. So, water on the side to balance the tent poles out. That's the next one. Now we're getting into the insides of the rucksack. This rucksack is a 40 litre plus 10. The plus 10 is this part, which also unclips and I can put it on my chest if I've got camera equipment or something like that. And I'll show you what I put in there later. But now we're getting into the inners of it. What I've got on my 4-day trek is I have 3 pairs of socks in here, 3 pairs of underpants, a warm top, a warm dry top for the evening, and I have a towel, toothbrush, toothpaste, and some cleaning stuff. What I'd like to do with everything I put inside a rucksack, rucksacks are not 100% waterproof, I always like putting everything into a bin bag. So we're going to throw all this in here, put it into the bin bag, just an extra layer of protection. You can also see I've separated it out into waterproof bags inside, so they're duly protected there. I have my 4 days worth of food. I have other videos on this, I'll show you them later, or you can have a look through my channel and see them. I separate it all out into days with plastic bags again, just because it's easier and it's more organised. And I also throw this food into there. And then we just push it into the rucksack and keep it all nice and compressed. And push it down just until it's at the bottom. Now we don't want to crush all our food, but we do want it as small as possible. The smaller the bag, the easier it is to handle. In this rucksack as well, what I do have is I have a bladder pouch at the back. Now, I don't use bladder pouches because I've had a bladder burst on me before. Separate reason for taking the tent poles and tent pegs out. I've had hard equipment in my rucksack. It's gone against the bladder and the bladder has leaked. It's not a problem that it caused me to have wet kit because the kit was separated into the bin bags like I had before, like I showed you. What it did was I ran out of water. I didn't like the idea of running out of water, hence why I have 3 separate water containers and I always check how much water I've got left. So what I use the bladder pouch for, and I do a lot of filming outside and I do lots of camera work as well. I use it for putting my cables in. In my bladder pouch, lots and lots of camera equipment. It's quite heavy. What we want to do is bring that heavy weight as close to your back as possible. So I put all my cables, my power bank, some of the extras that I have in there into that bladder pouch to bring it close to my back. And I've also got spare camera batteries that go in here, and that just brings that weight close to your back. So, nice little handy pouch to have. What I do next is I put my tent in. Obviously, it's very lightweight tent. It's a one-person tent. I've got the tent poles on the outside like I mentioned, so this is just the outer and the inner, scrunched up nicely, packed all nice and tidy, and we push this into the rucksack here. Next bit of kit is my cooker. Now what I've got, you are going to stop during your first day, so I've got my food for the first day and I have my cooker. In here, this is also a foil warm bag that I found on Amazon for about €9. It's great, I can keep my food warm in it, plus I keep all my stove system in there, my gas, knife, fork and spoon, and also my water filter. So I just keep it all together. I know I'm going to use it to heat up my meals at some point during the day, so I want it fairly handy. At the end of the day, I'm going to use my tent, but before that, I'm going to use my cooker. So I've got my food for the day at the top and my cooker there. Now we're getting down to the very important stuff. So once you're backpacking and hiking, weather changes quite fast. What I do, I have a snood, I have some long trousers, just in case. Don't need long trousers as much as you need a warm jacket. So what I do is put my trousers in next. I will then put my snood in and I'll put my warm top, just in case I need it, right at the top of the rucksack here. Okay, and then cinch all this down. Use all the clips that are provided because they keep it all together nice and safe and don't bounce around on your back. So we always pull them tight, press it down as much as we can, and that's us with the main part of the rucksack complete. I'll clip all these up very nice and quickly. Get out of the way. Now I've got this top pouch, mentioned it before. It's lovely in here. I actually carry spare rubbish bags just in case I see some rubbish. Take it out with me, leave no trace. Waterproof jacket in the top, nice, handy and accessible. I've got a warm top in the rucksack, but firstly it's either going to rain or it's going to get a bit windy and a bit chilly, so I'm putting my rain jacket on just to keep that chill off. Also have my camera case and I have my microphone system for the camera case. What you can see on the floor is my footprint for my tent. There's a reason why it's left out right until the last minute and a reason why it's still on the floor. That's my rucksack pretty much packed, apart from the footprint of my tent. Now the footprint of your tent goes underneath your tent. It's the thing that's next to the ground, next to the dirt and everything else. It's the thing that collects the most condensation as well because it comes up from the floor if you're on grass. So I always leave this till last and I pack it up nicely like this. Keep the dirty side to the outer and I get my dirty footprint and I just slide this. This has a lovely little pouch on the outside. I slide it into there. That is my rucksack, all nicely packed, ready to go. And like I say, got that 4 days worth. Quick tip on it as well, I put my inner and my outer to my tent into the main part of the rucksack. You saw me do that. If it's been raining overnight and your outer of your tent is very wet, put your inner inside, keep it nice and dry for the next night. Put your outer on the outside as well, and this will keep the water away from everything that you need to keep dry in your rucksack. Plus, if it's on the outside in this kind of airy sort of bag, if it's a lovely hot day the next day, it might dry out by the next night. Anyway, hope that helps. That's how I've packed a backpack. That's how I pack my rucksack with 30 odd years I've been doing this. You will find it's quite heavy to start with. You'll get used to the weight, I promise you, and you'll be quite comfortable with what we packed in our backpacks there. Subscribe to the channel, give me a like, and I'll speak to you soon.